Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Grabenstein, Chapter 17. Excellent escape plan, Charles, said Mr. Lemoncello on the video screens. Thank you, sir, said Chiltington, smoothing out his khaki pants. And just so you know, I saw an ant crawling up the side of this seat. That's why I almost kicked it. How very thoughtful of you, Charles. Mr. Lemoncello, said Akimi. Yes. How come the sewer started smelling like a pine tree? Because I enjoy the odor of pine trees much more than the stench of horse poop. How about you? Definitely. Now then, will everybody else please join us upstairs in the Electronic Learning Center? I have a very important announcement to make. Kyle heard feet clomping up the stairs, and soon Andrew, Bridget, Yasmin, Sean, Haley, Rose, and Kayla hurried into the room. Are we all here? Said Mr. Lemoncello. Everybody except Sierra Russell, said Kyle. Ah, yes, I saw her downstairs reading When You Reach Me by Rebecca Steed. We'll reach her later. It's nearly noon, and I'm eager to move on to the next round of our competition. What competition? Asked Yasmin Smith-Snyder. The one we are about to begin. Sir, said Sean Keegan, I have stuff to do today. That's fine, Sean. You are, of course, free to leave. If any of the rest of you do not wish to stay and play, kindly deposit your library cards in the discard pile. A tile in the floor popped open, and an empty goldfish bowl atop an ornate column rose up about 3 feet. Just drop it in the bowl there, Sean. Attaboy. Follow the flashing red arrows in the floor to the nearest exit, where you will receive a lovely parting gift along with my everlasting admiration for your essay writing abilities. Bright red arrows danced across the floor. Sean followed them. What happens if we decide to stay? Asked Akimi. You will be given the chance to play a new game. Is there a prize for the winner? Demanded Haley Daly. Oh, yes. Now Miguel shot up his hand. Mr. Lemoncello, what do we have to win? Send your way out of the library using only in the library. Awesome. Lame, mumbled Kayla Corson. I'm out of here. Put your library card into the fishbowl and followed the blinking arrows outward. Does anyone else want or need to leave? Sorry, sir. I have soccer at 2, said Rose Romette. See you guys later. She dropped her card into the discard bowl. The instant she did, bells rang, confetti fell from the ceiling, and every electronic console in the game room started ding, 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 dinging. Congratulations, Rose, cried Mr. Lemoncello, who had put on a pointy party hat. For sticking to your prior commitments, you will receive our special prize called Prior Commitment Sticker Prize, a complete set of Lemoncello sticker picture games and a laptop computer to play them on. Enjoy! Charles Chiltington stepped a little closer to the security camera as Rose Vermette skipped out of the room. Sir, might we assume that the prize for winning your brand new game will be even better than a laptop computer? Yes, said Mr. Lemoncello, taking off his party hat. You may assume. I'm in, said Chiltington. Me too, said Kyle. Me too, added Akimi, Miguel, Andrew, Bridget, Yasmin, and Haley. Sierra Russell wandered into the room. Her nose was buried so deep in her book she didn't even notice Mr. Lemoncello's gigantic face on all the video screens. Is something going on? She said, mostly to her book pages. You bet, boomed Mr. Lemoncello. Sierra's head snapped up. Oh, hello, sir. Greetings, Sierra. Sorry to interrupt your reading. Just have a quick question. Will you be staying or leaving? Well, sir, I'd like to stay if that's okay. Okay? It's wondermous. Another word I just made up. Now then, to read you the rules of the game, because every game needs rules, here is your friend and mine, Dr. Yanina Zinchenko. The video screen switched to a close-up of the librarian with the red hair and glasses. Your exit from the library must be completed between noon today and noon tomorrow, said Dr. Zinchenko. Mr. Lemoncello's head popped into a corner of her screen. Tomorrow's my birthday, by the way, mark your calendar. And he ducked back out of the frame. Our security guards will continue holding your cell phones, said Dr. Zinchenko. You may not use the library computers to contact anyone outside the building. You may, however, use them to conduct research. You may also require 3 different types of outside assistance. 1, ask an expert, 1, librarian consultant, and 1, extreme challenge. Please be advised, the extreme challenges are, as the name implies, extremely difficult. If you pass the challenge, your reward will be great. However, if you fail, you will be eliminated from the competition. Kyle figured he'd avoid asking for one of those, unless he extremely needed to. To use any of these lifelines, Dr. Zinchenko continued, simply summon Mrs. Tobin. Chiltington raised his hand. Yes, Charles. Would you mind telling us what the prize will be for the winner? The video screen switched to an image of Mr. Lemoncello, who had done some sort of quick change. Now he was wearing sunglasses and had a silk ascot tucked into his shirt collar. He looked like a flashy Hollywood movie star from 1939. Fame and glory! The winner will become my new spokesperson and will star in all of my holiday promotions. We'll be famous? Gushed Yasmin, fluffing up her hair and smiling at the security camera. Haley stepped in front of Yasmin. I've done some modeling work for Sherman Shoes in Old Town. Yasmin stepped in front of Haley. I was an extra in a hot dog commercial once. Well, I'm a cheerleader. Yasmin isn't... While the 2 girls continued primping and posing for the camera, Dr. Zinchenko came back on screen to quickly rattle off some final words. Your library cards are the keys to everything you will need. The library staff is here to help you find whatever it is you are looking for. The way out is not the way you came in. You may not use any of the fire exits. If you do, an alarm will sound and you will be immediately eliminated from the game. For safety purposes, you will be under constant video surveillance and you will be recorded. In the unlikely event of an emergency, you will be evacuated from the building. Creating an incident that requires evacuation will not count as having discovered a way to exit the library. Any questions? Just one, said Peckelman, adjusting his Google-sized glasses with his fingertip. When exactly will the game begin? Mr. Lemoncello's face reappeared on the screens. Good question, Andrew. Oh my, it's noon. How about, let's say, I don't know, now? Chapter 18. The contestants raced down the stairs to the Rotunda reading room. Kyle saw Haley Daly dash down another set of steps into the basement to what the floor plan called decks. Miguel and Andrew, library experts, grabbed separate tables and started working the touchscreen computers. Bridget Wage did the same thing. Charles Chiltington strolled out the arched doorway and into the foyer with a fountain. Yasmin Smith-Snyder was running around the circular room with her floor plan in front of her face, like someone frantically checking their text messages while racing down a crowded sidewalk. Sierra Russell found a comfy chair and sat down to finish her book. The girl definitely wasn't into the whole spirit of the game. So Kyle, said Akimi, you want to form an alliance? What do you mean? It's what people do on reality shows, like Survivor. We help each other until, everybody else is eliminated and we have to stab each other in the back. I don't know. I don't remember hearing anything about eliminations. Oh, right. But, hey, there was nothing in the rules that said we couldn't share the top prize. I just want to win. Cool. So we're a team? Sure. Great, said Akimi. I nominate you to be our captain. All in favor, raise your hands. Kyle and Akimi both raised their hands. It's unanimous, said Akimi. Okay, let's go ask that antique librarian a question. What? We both get to ask one question, right? Right. Okay, here's mine. Hey, lady, how do we get out of here? And you think she'll tell us? No, not really. So, what's your plan? Well, I was thinking. Suddenly, Yasmin shouted, I win! The rest of them stopped whatever they were doing. It's just like last night when Kyle found dessert in the most obvious place. To get out of the library, all we have to do is use one of the fire exits. Duh! She headed toward a hallway between the Book Nook Cafe and Community Meeting Room A. Kyle stood up. Yasmin, I think maybe you missed some of what... Charles Chiltington dashed into the room and shouted, You're not going to win, Yasmin, not unless you beat me to that fire exit. He bolted toward the corridor. Yasmin bolted toward it, too. You guys, said Kyle. What do you think he's going to tell them? have to think back to what Mr. Lemoncello told them. Kyle could see a red exit light glowing at the end of the hallway Charles and Yasmin were sprinting down. Charles stumbled and fell. Yasmin kept running harder, faster. She slammed an exit bar metal door. Just then alarm sounded. Flashing red light whirled. Somewhere, Mr. Lemoncello's ring overhead speakers. Sorry, Yasmin, that's where you silence. You the rules. You are out of the game. Your library card will be in the discard bowl, and you will be going home. As the fire exit door slowly swung shut and Yasmin disappeared into the bright sunshine out of the library, Kyle checked out Charles Chiltington, who would have been sent home if he hadn't stumbled and had reached the exit first. This guy was smirking. Why do you think he's smirking, boys and girls? Do you think that Charles could have done this on purpose, perhaps? That was when it hit Kyle. Chiltington had faked Yasmin out. He knew she couldn't win by going out a fire exit, but he ran down the hall to fool her into thinking she was doing the right thing. Oh yeah, Charles Chiltington was definitely in it to win it, no matter who he had to trample. Whistling casually, Charles strolled back to the lobby. "What's Chiltington doing out in the entrance hall?" asked Akemi. "They told us the way out isn't the way in." Before Kyle could answer, Andrew Puckelman started shouting at Miguel, who had wandered over to Puckelman's table. "Get away! You're trying to steal my idea!" "No, man," said Miguel. "I just happened to see your screen, and I don't think that particular periodical—" "You know what, Miguel? I don't really care what you think. This isn't school. This is the public library, and you're not the boss in here, so just leave me alone." Miguel tossed up his hands. "No problem, bro. I was just trying to help." "Ha! You mean to help me lose?" Andrew stormed up the closet's closest spiral staircase to the second floor and the Dewey Decimal rooms. Miguel, looking sort of sad, headed up a separate spiral staircase. Bridget Wage trailed after them. "Want to follow those guys like Bridget did?" whispered Akemi. "I'll take the Puckelmans, you take Miguel." "No, thanks," said Kyle, looking up at the domed ceiling. "I'm much more interested in the windows up there." 3 stories above the rotunda floor, just below the Wonder Dome, there was a series of 10 arched windows set between the recessed statue nooks. The windows acted like skylights at the base of the dome, allowing sunshine to flood into the room. "Do you think those windows open?" asked Akemi. "Maybe, maybe not, but I've never let a closed, locked window between me and winning a game. Just ask my dad." "What?" "Never mind. Come on." Kyle trotted over to the cushy chair where Sierra Russell was wistfully reading a book. Excuse me, I hate to interrupt." Sierra raised her head. She had a very dreamy look in her eyes. "I need a book." "Really?" said Sierra. "What kind?" "Like the one you found, up there." He gestured to the curving bookcases climbing the back half of the rotunda. "Fiction?" said Sierra. "Right," said Kyle. "Love me some fiction." "Well, what sort of story do you like?" "Something way up high," said Kyle. "The higher the better." "Really?" "Yep." "Well, that's an interesting way to put together a reading list based on bookcase elevation. I'd like something on the top shelf, maybe right under the hologram statue of that guy hanging out with the Cat in the Hat." "That's Dr. Seuss," said Sierra. "He wrote The Cat in the Hat." "Sweet," said Kyle, "but I just like how close he is to that window." Chapter 19. "Oh, Mrs. Tobin," Akemi called out, "I need to use my library consultation." "You sure about this?" said Kyle. "That's the beauty of being a team. After we burn through mine, we still have yours." The hologram librarian appeared and advised Akemi that Huckleberry Finn, by Mark Twain, was the book located right underneath the holographic image of Dr. Seuss and the Cat in the Hat. After Mrs. Tobin vanished, Kyle and Akemi used their desktop computer to find the call number for Huckleberry Finn. Kyle grabbed a pen and scribbled it down on his palm. "Are you going to do what I think you're going to do?" asked Akemi. "Yep, I'm going to float up there, hoist myself into that nook where the hologram is, and reach over to the window, push it open, and stick out my hand. Technically, I will have found my way out of the library. Nothing in the rules said anything about how far outside we had to go to win." "But you could fall." "I don't think so. I'm wiry like a monkey." "Seriously, Kyle, it isn't worth it." Yes it is. Did I mention I want to win?" You should improvise a safety harness, suggested Sierra Russell. Huh? Well, in this adventure book I read once, there was a hero in a very similar predicament. So we removed the curled handset wires from several telephones, bundled them together, and made a safety rope. 10 minutes later, Kyle, Akimi, and Sierra had stripped the springy wires of a couple of telephone handsets. Kyle looped the cables around his waist and tied the other end to the handrail of the hover ladder. When he fully did, the safety rope would stretch out to a little more than 20 feet. It should work. Be careful up there, said Akimi. Yes, said Sierra, who wasn't reading her book anymore. Apparently, watching a real-life person risk his real-life life by doing something really, really scary was one thing more exciting than reading. Kyle locked his feet into the hover ladder ski boot bracket. Here we go. Sirius threw his body as he tore for Huckleberry Finn into the hover ladder's book locator keypad. When you open the window, said Akimi, just shout, I found the way out, and we win. Right, said Kyle, all three of us. Huh? Hey, Sierra came up with the safety rope idea. She's on our team now, too. Fine, whatever, just don't break your neck. Not part of my plan. Kyle pressed the enter button on the control panel. The platform floated up off the ground and drifted slightly to the right. Be careful, said Akimi. Watch it. I'm not doing anything, said Kyle. This thingamajiggy is doing all the work. I'm just along for the ride. Kyle gripped the handles as the platform rose higher and higher. He sailed past books by Tolstoy and Thackeray. Tilting his head back, he looked up at the semi-transparent statues projected into the curved niches next to the arched windows. They were a weird mix. A thoughtful African-American man in a three-piece suit and a bow tie. A guy with long curly hair, old-fashioned clothes, and a looking glass. A long-haired dude in a scruffy shirt hiding behind cutouts of the letter P and B. A bald guy with a beard. Since the statues were really holographic projections, they had chiseled type labels floating in front of their pedestals, identifying who the famous people were. The ones closest to Kyle were George Orwell, Lewis Carroll, Dr. Seuss, and Maya Angelou. As he continued to climb, Kyle could hear the soft whir of the electromagnets invisibly lifting him toward the ceiling. And then he heard something much louder. What a ridiculous idea! Charles Chiltington. He was standing on the second-floor balcony at the far side of the rotunda. You know, Keeley, I thought about doing the same thing, but then I noticed something you obviously overlooked. There's a wire mesh security screen on the other side of those windows. The levitating platform stuttered to a stop. Enjoy staring at the ceiling, Keeley. I'm off to win yet another game. Kyle ignored Chiltington and grabbed hold of the ledge beneath Dr. Seuss's berth. He tried to haul himself up, but his feet budged. They were locked in place by those ski clamps, and this close to the skylights, Kyle could see that Chiltington was right. There was a security screen on the other side of the windows. Kyle checked his wristwatch. It was 1 p.m. He and his team had wasted an hour on the window. He sighed heavily and stared up at the quivering Seuss projection in the bowed niche above his head. The cat in the hat's mouth started to move. Think left and think right, and think low and think high. Kyle recognized the voice. It was Mr. Lemoncello. Oh, the things you can think up if only you try. In other words, Kyle was back to square one. He needed to think up a whole new escape plan. The ladder began a slow and steady descent to the floor, even though Kyle hadn't pushed a button. Don't listen to Smarty Pants Charles, Akimi coached, as Kyle coasted to the floor. It was worth a shot. I agree, said Sierra. A blood-curdling scream came ringing up the staircase from the basement. That's Haley, said Akimi. I saw her go downstairs. That's where the stacks are, added Sierra. Come on, said Kyle. She could be in serious trouble. You should never help your competition, Keeley, scoffed Charles as he casually strolled down a spiral staircase. Unless, of course, you always play to lose.